Yo, welcome to another edition of Wrestling Talks and Thoughts. I'm your host, Jay McMain.
And you know it's your boy, the Big Bad Hoochosaurus.
It's your boy Travis, man, live and in the building.
And we have a special guest. For those of you who do not know who Tyson Maddux is, let me just show y'all real quick. So yes, we have the one and only Tyson Maddux.
Yo, what's up out there?
What's going on? So, we have a comment already. All right. Oh, Saheem Dream, what's going on, Si? He's another one of them.
What up, Si?
What's that?
Sorry.
All right. So, we're not going to try to answer a lot of questions, but, we do have questions on, and basically, like, I guess the people want to know certain things. So I guess we can start off by, I guess you can tell us where you're from or where they can find you.
Well, I'm originally from Lake Charles, Louisiana. Right now, I'm residing in Atlanta, Georgia. Been there for about 4 years.
Okay.
What about you? Got an IG or Facebook?
Yeah, man. I got I guess you could say my Facebook kind of linked to my. I guess it's like my real name and everything, because like when you do those fan pages or whatever, you kind of lose messages. And I had one in the past, and like I was losing out on bookings because they wasn't sending me the notifications right then and there. But on Instagram and on Twitter, it's easy to find me as Tyson Maddux, TysonMaddux, all one word, no underscores, no nothing, all lowercase.
That's what's up. We'll leave the Facebook part out. That's what's up. That's what I wanted, the Tyson Maddux part.
Yeah. I actually, what was funny is like, I got the name and, and I ain't got to add none of the extra to it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm trying to hold it down. Hopefully, you know what I'm saying, when that time comes, they don't switch my name up.
Well, I mean, under the Vince regime, probably.
Everyone say my name kind of like it came out of a wrestling game anyway.
Yeah. I can see that.
So it kind of worked, but like I joke about different little name changes or something if I end up over there. We'll probably get into a question and I'll probably be able to answer it. And it got a little funny to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so and I'll let you start the first question.
I was checking out your resume. I see that you wrestled in Japan. Was it hard adjusting over there and stuff like that? With the language, the food, the time frame and stuff like that. Like, was it hard schedule wise, like your body wise and stuff like that?
Not really. It like the first time I went there, I guess it was like I was sleep like 4 or 5 hours like daytime and 4 or 5 hours our time. Cause you know what I'm saying? Like I had to like kind of keep up with everything that I had going on here and and there, and I had to be up there too. So it was like a a balance. Like I was kind of sleep throughout the day. Well, that was like on my first tour there. I was only there for about 12 days. But like my second tour, like I was there for 3 months, and like it was like I guess you could say it was a harder adjustment, just kind of being out there in the culture and everything, because I had to really like shift mind frames of how we do things here and how we do things there. But as far as like things like ring wise, it's like wrestling is like a universal language. You know, you can just either act it out, or some of the things are the same, and you just kind of go out there and you just feel it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So while you was over, what was like the experience like ring wise? Like was you said wrestling is universal and stuff like that, but I know over there the pop strong style is very popular.
Man, to be honest with you, brother, like what people don't understand, like I guess you could say for me, strong style is not a specific style; it's a state of mind.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And that's where the people kind of get like confused on it, because like, you know, when I was with 0-1, you know, I'm thinking like, yeah, like I'm out to like, you know, put some stank on it, you know what I'm saying? And I was in there with Tiny, she drove Tiny, and I threw it. He was like, lighten up. I was like, oh, okay. And then, you know, I started kind of getting it. It's like a lot of the stuff, it don't be as stiff as what people make it out to be. It's just like with them, they know where to place things. You know what I'm saying? Where it makes that sound that everyone hears, that they love to hear. So it's like I know how to lay it in. Like I know how to place my strikes. You know, where you can hear it but not feel it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now as far as like, you know, the suplexes and, you know, and like that, yeah, you know, that's, I mean, you can't really fake that, you know, it's like, you know, but the way that they train, you know, they do a lot of neck bridges in their training. So it's like their necks are like extremely strong, so they can kind of withstand that pressure.
Okay. That's dope.
I understand.
All right, so you know, in wrestling, you basically have singles, you have tag team, or you have a faction. Like, what do you think you fit most, or when you go to one of the main rosters?
I mean, it's so many different things that I could do. You know, like I've been trying to like do a tag team for a minute, because like I've been pretty much single like my whole career, and you know, I guess you could say tag team wrestling is kind of like a lost art, but it's starting to come back.
Right.
And like, I guess you could say it's multiple tag teams that I could put myself in, where, you know, it could be something that's interesting. I guess you could say on both products, as far as like, well, I'm gonna go and say all three products, because I'll throw Impact in there also.
Right.
So I got a question, since you said that. Give me one tag team you think you could throw yourself in and make the biggest impact with?
Ooh, that's a hard. I guess that's a hard question when you say the most impact, because
Or just the impact, or best fit.
Okay, well, I'll start off with Impact. Me and Moose.
Yeah, okay. You and Moose. I can see that.
Okay,
I can see that.
On AEW. Me and Will Hobbs.
Yeah, I was about to say that too. Yeah, you and Hobbs would be crazy.
And then if I slide on over to, you know what I'm saying, the WWE, you know, you could put me and Apollo together.
Yeah, that would be fire.
You could put me and Bobby together.
What about you and Ricochet?
Okay.
It'll work, but it'll work. It's just that, like, for me, like, I personally don't kind of like the big guy, small guy dynamic.
Okay.
Cause like, I mean, don't get me wrong, because like I guess you could say like you rarely see them put two big guys together anymore. I mean, they did back in the day, you know, when you look at Doom, Harlem Heat, you know, everybody was, you know, it was big guys. But I would say if there was a tag team, I could say in WWE where it's like I know I would probably get the most out of it, it could be me and Shelton.
Yeah, you and Shelton would be fire. I didn't think about it.
Me, like, cause like I pat like now, like I've always wanted to pattern myself after him, but I just had to take the time out to, you know what I'm saying, to get myself back in that condition. Cause like, you know, I didn't wrestle in high school, but we both have that track background. We both have that athletic background. It's like if you can, we had that mix of power and that mix of athleticism. And it's like, he was one of my inspirations. And like, there's a joke, like I said, like I was telling y'all earlier, if they was to switch my name, I'll switch it to Felton Benjamin, be his little nephew or whatever. And like, the story I got, I guess it got some little comedy to it because his mama was remember the comedian Thea?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Shelton mama. So I said, what, man? Dope. They take the comedian Linnell.
Yeah.
Linnell.
And that'll be my mama, they be sisters or whatever. And then like, he kind of like take me under his wing. Cause I guess you could say the way it's going with him currently right now, he was supposed to do a tag team with R-Truth, but R-Truth got hurt. So
yeah.
So I got a question. I see you said Sheldon. So do you think you think if they ever put them back together, you think you could fit in the Hurt Business?
Yeah, and to be honest, like I had like there is a backstory with me and the Hurt Business.
Okay.
Yeah, well, y'all know who got me started in wrestling?
Cool.
Let me guess, Bobby Lashley.
Nope, Cedric.
Okay. Oh wow.
Oh,
yeah, Cedric Alexander, like he took me to his trainer George South, and that's how I got started.
Okay.
And
I didn't know that.
Like, and really, like, kind of what made me step my game up as far as kind of going and really finding myself, like, and doing the things that I want to do and doing the things like I feel that would get me over as a talent. It was like MVP. Like I want to say in my first year of wrestling, I did a show with him in Louisiana. And he pretty much, after my match, I asked for his feedback, and he gave me the real. And then from that point on, from that point on, like I pretty much, I took his words and I exercised them. And he also endorsed me doing the balling thing. So, I had.
I see you do that a lot.
I like for what I was doing something else with it, but then like I was trying to say something else, but everybody would say balling. And I was just like, well, you know what? I'm gonna just go ahead and run with it. But I'm one of them type of guys, like if it belongs to you, and if you're doing it, I'm gonna ask you for permission.
Yeah.
And you give me that permission, then I'll go ahead and do it. And like I asked him one day on Twitter, and he gave me that endorsement. So
yeah,
it's mine now. And then another thing too is like I guess you could say like my current character is a play off of his old character.
Yeah, I can see. Yeah, I can see the resemblance. What you mean? Like, I can see what you mean by that. It is kind of a playoff, like the early MVP.
Yeah, but for my thing, like it's like really legit. Like I'm a legit athlete. That can, I can still get out there and play ball if I want to. So,
yeah, I see you. I see the hops. I seen the hops on Twitter. I see you get up there.
But like I said, I had to like literally like get myself back to that, and I got myself back to that like in July. I dislocated my shoulder in a match, and I kind of said like, while this time off, while I rehab it, I'm gonna just I'm gonna come back better than ever. So I really like got myself in way better shape than what I was in, and it's like right now I guess you could say I hit the reset button and I'm starting on a new path. Kind of displaying new things and doing new things that I haven't done in the past.
Yeah.
You know what I just thought about? So, all right. So think of this, and I don't know why I thought of this. So let's say you have a triple threat 3-man, 6-man tag, where you have the Usos, Solo Sikoa, the New Day, and have you with the Street Profits.
That'll work too. Like I said, that'll work. Like that work too. I like him a lot because like the one dude that I can't remember his name, but isn't it not Angelo?
Angelo Dawkins.
Yeah, Angelo Dawkins. He's the big one.
Yeah.
But the smaller one.
Montez Ford.
Yeah. Now he got some bounce. You know what I'm saying? I know, man.
Yeah, that boy got some bounce.
Yeah, we'll do like some crazy, like some crazy things.
Yeah, you probably have to like do more for Angelo. Angelo tried to be athletic, but he's just not there. So
he there for like he there for like he's there for his size.
okay, I guess I can see that.
Like he's there for his size. Like it's kind of like you have to know, like, for me, like I had to find a happy medium of, like, for one, I can tell you this, I can't flip to save my life.
Okay.
And everybody likes to, like, associate athleticism with flipping. And like for me, like I really don't, like, I don't think flipping is kind of, anybody can flip.
Right.
But not anybody can run and jump on that top turnbuckle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
You know what I'm saying?
when you did it, I was just like, okay.
Yeah, so I guess, and so like for me, it's like I had to, because I would always try to find ways to, like, damn, how can I display my athleticism?
Mm-hmm.
And like, and I just kind of like start seeing the things and like really watching old wrestling, and just kind of just coming across things like I saw in Mexico and like different spots that I can do in matches. They'll be like, okay, I see that, like one thing I haven't seen nobody do yet that I'm still, hoping nobody do is like, I've seen, because like I've done that double leapfrog thing on AEW Dark the first time, then I started seeing it a lot. And then like after that, I was like, damn, what can I do? And I did a tag match and I leapfrogged 2 people.
Okay.
Like nobody's ever done that. Nobody has done that on TV yet. I know there's some people are capable of doing it, but they never thought about doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I've never seen that.
Yeah, I never seen. I'm thinking right now. I never seen that.
Like if you kind of scan my social media, it's in my highlights. It's in my highlights.
Yeah, I've been scanning through your social media. So I got a question. You said Cedric brought you into wrestling, though, but you was trained by one half of the Rock and Roll Express, right?
Yeah.
How was that experience? Like, being trained by a Hall of Famer like that. Like, what was that like?
That experience, that's really what put me over the top. Cause like I trained with QT. It was the One Fall Power Factory at the time, and then like when I came back from Japan, when training there, I left there and went train with Robert, and it was like, Robert kind of, taught me like a lot of the little things, like, so just old vet stuff, and just certain things about like with positioning and so just the small things that can make you better, and that kind of like took me over the top. It really taught me how to like to be a worker, because you have like different levels. You got people, oh, he's a good wrestler, oh, he's a good worker, oh, he's a good entertainer. It's like, the good workers always last the longest, because they know what not to do. Know how to I know how to listen to the crowd. It'll be sometimes doing. I'll pull stuff in, pull stuff out. I'll put this in, and I'll take this out, and it's like I know how to adjust on the fly.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like kind of some of the things, like I know a lot of wrestlers, they can't do. They can't just adjust on the fly. Like they'll feel like if it didn't go exactly how we said it was supposed to go, then the whole thing is like, I can cuss.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, then the whole thing is fucked.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, for me, like it's like a guy this weekend, we like I said, with certain things, like we just kind of adjusted it. What, like, for the way we put it together, it wasn't there. So we got into it a different way. And that's
I see that you wrestled this weekend.
Robert.
You wrestled this weekend against one of the Noah boys, right? I believe, right?
Nah, I didn't wrestle. Okay, if y'all want to go ahead and hop into that, we can hop into that.
Yeah, cause I was trying to look for that because it was happening in my city in Queens, New York. So I was like, oh
man, look, that whole situation, it was a debacle, bro. Like,
oh snap.
Yeah, I don't know if y'all had been paying attention, as far as like, I mean, a couple of dirt sheets picked it up. Alberto Del Rio cut a promo on the situation.
Yeah, I seen that.
Yeah, so basically, like with that whole, I'll give you my, I guess you could say, my whole account of the situation. You know, I want to say it was about like I don't know if it was pre-show, but it was pretty much before my match. You know, one of the guys came to the back, was like, they took the money. I'm like, they took and I'm listening, you know, so I'm warming up and I'm listening to it. So basically, like, he said like they took the money or whatever, and I'm like, okay. I was like, well, it's some shit about to go on.
Mm-hmm.
And so the whole time, you know, the everybody is just like the whole energy of the situation was just kind of off.
Yeah.
And then so, cause like whenever they was how the matches were supposed to go, it was supposed to be Josh Alexander versus Nakajima.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Ultimo Dragon and Marufuji versus Alberto Del Rio and Ricardo. And so the whole night I'm looking at it, I don't see the promoter nowhere. I'm like, what the hell is dude at? You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay, whatever. It's like, so okay, I'm just gonna sit here and enjoy the show, what was going on. So basically what happened was they turned the singles and the tag match, they turned it to a 6-man. Okay, cool. And so next thing you know, they had a match and everything. Alberto grabbed the mic and he cut his promo. And so he's saying, like, if you listen to it word for word, he said not everybody on the show got paid. Which is true. Not everybody on the show got paid. I mean, because like how it happened was, you know, they took the money because I guess the way it came out was that the promoter didn't have enough money to pay them or whatever. So they took the door money and them 6, I guess they split it amongst themselves. And as far as like, I don't know, as far as like anybody else on the card, but I know for me and a couple of other guys, we ain't seen nothing yet.
That's crazy.
You know, I ain't seen no type of money. I know the six guys in the main event, they got their money. But they didn't get their money that they probably was owed, but they got something, you know what I'm saying, on the night. And as far as like, the women, I don't know if the women got paid. Yeah, I know a couple of them didn't because, you know, when I arrived back to the hotel, they was like, you know, trying to figure out what happened to old boy, because old boy, you know, he ended up going to the hospital or whatever for a panic attack.
Yeah. And
you know, that whole thing came all wrong because at the end of the day, that's like a banana in the tailpipe trick. You know what I'm saying? You hear about you hear the stories about the promoters, like they fake a heart attack or they fake something, you know what I'm saying? They go to the hospital. But the dude, like, from what I know, he did go to the hospital, you know, and he got checked out and all that. But as far as like any type of money being issued, nah, I haven't seen nothing yet. As far as on my end, you know what I'm saying? I kind of know what I'm owed, and there's like a couple of other guys, they didn't get paid either. Just kind of talking to them, but you know, the guys in the main event, they got something, but they ain't get what they was owed. And like I said, I'm sitting up, I ain't got shit yet, so I'm trying. I guess it's like, you know, so I'm trying to keep it cool, you know what I'm saying? Because I like, you know, I know how I can get. I'll mess around, start talking and probably fuck my whole wrestling career up. So it's like I'm just kind of sitting back and kind of waiting to see what old buddy gonna do. You know what I'm saying? If he gonna do the right thing, or if he just not, if we just gonna kind of, you know, be on some hoe shit.
Right.
Yeah.
As far as traveling, like, you know what I'm saying, like, do promoters pay for like travel, hotel, and everything like that? All that's you cover all of that.
Yeah, they pay for it. Like, he was like with that situation there, you know. So I did like, this is my 4th show with the said promoter. And like each time, you know what I'm saying, he paid for my flight, my hotel, and all that stuff. But on this particular time, I was like, you know, hey man, like I see, you know what I'm saying, you got a stacked up show. And you know, so I was like, okay, I felt like I can kind of trust him a little bit. And I was like, hey, you know what I'm saying, instead of you know what I'm saying, paying for my full flight, I'll pay for half of it. And you know what I'm saying, you give me the other half on top of, you know what I'm saying, what you owe me for the night, you know what I'm saying, for my normal pay for the show or whatever. And he was like, yeah, that's cool. And that's something like I never do that, because it's like, if you say you're gonna pay my flight, I'm not, you know what I'm saying, I'm not budging until you get that motherfucker, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so like the whole time is like that with that particular situation, it was just like the whole thing was off. The whole thing was off. But you know, I committed to the show, and you know, so I was happy to be wrestling Lance, but Lance ended up, you know, having to work late, so he didn't show. But back to, I guess your question is like, yeah, when I do travel, like my flight is paid for.
Okay.
All right, so seems like the doors are wide open right now. So I'm gonna jump in while I can. So I hear you talking about your perspective. So one question I had, and you can kind of answer this the best way not to mess up your career or anything you got going in the future. It's two big promotions out there right now, and we know Impact is probably the third best Impact. I mean, the best third best. Everybody got their rankings. I'm gonna put it like that because Ann is the New Japan guy. I got two questions
Yeah.
for you. One, for the people that really don't know, like, prime example, like me, I learned about the indies maybe about 5 years ago, right? And I didn't know how to look that up, but now you got all type of streaming sites where you can go find it, right? So for
Yeah.
the people that don't know too much about the indies and people that still don't really get into streaming, my first question is, what would you say to them to kind of get their mindset and try to find the best way to watch indie guys like you coming up if they like wrestling? You know what I mean? That's my first question. My
My answer.
second question. Okay, go ahead. No, go ahead. Answer that. You guys.
I answered all at one time.
All right. My second question is right now today. If you can answer this, I want you to put yourself in no jeopardy. If you had to choose a promotion to sign with, who would it be? Or would you stay where you at and you comfortable where you at?
All right. Well, to answer the first question, I guess the easiest way is if you get wind of someone and you like them, or you like their work and you want to find more on them, depending on like who, like what level, like how many years they've been in the business. I mean, YouTube is, that's the way to go. It's like if you, like, for instance, if you want to check out a lot of my previous work, the easiest way to find me is type me in YouTube. Like I have like I said, I try to get every match and upload it to my channel. Like I had a match on Saturday, it'll be up by Sunday morning, or probably like late that night or whatever. And I'm pretty sure they have other guys like that. But if you just trying to, like, if you're looking for someone who, I guess, who's been in the business for a while or whatever, because they do have some guys who just kind of been on the indies and been around, you can look on YouTube and Daily Motion. So he's just type the name in. And I can tell you this though, another way you can get into some indie wrestling is I know pretty much everyone has like a Fire Stick and all, and Roku and all of that right now.
Yeah.
I want to. It's Pluto, and if you go to Pluto, you'll have they have a CMLL channel. I mean, not CML, the AAA channel where you can watch AAA Lucha Libre. They have an Impact.
Yeah.
They just show like Impact all day, like old
Yeah,
stuff.
I know. Yeah, I used to. Yeah.
And then they have an indie channel where it's like I want to say one time I was watching like they had the rappers, like they had rappers. It was I don't know what it was called, but I know rappers had like wrestlers and all that. They were like sponsored wrestlers, like doing like little crazy storylines. Is it Hood Slam?
Oh yeah, Hood Slam. Yeah, my boy referees for them. My boy out in the Bay, Nook.
Yeah. It come like you get Beyond, you get like you kind of like if you have two, if you get on Pluto and you get on that channel, what I'm saying, you'll be able to like just kind of watch like certain indie promotions that are on there. If you don't have a Fight TV subscription, or it's the IWTV subscription, or like what's the new one, the Pro Wrestling TV thing they just came out with, like, but that's the easy way to to catch like some indie wrestling for free.
Okay.
Yeah, like the.
I know about the Pluto.
Yeah.
I know about the Pluto.
Yeah, and Pluto free.
Yeah. I
That's how they
know.
get in Defy. They be having Defy on there sometimes.
Yeah, and another thing is too. I know I kept saying Tubi. If you get on, I don't know if it's Tubi or is it Crackle. They have like old wrestling, like the old wrestling. You'll
Yeah.
find like I found like some one day I was watching like Mick Foley, but he was he was Cactus Jack, but he wasn't like the Cactus Jack, like he was that Cactus Jack too, but he was skinny Cactus Jack.
Okay.
Yeah, he was, man. Mick Foley was skinny, man. So it was like, it was kind of interesting to see that. So it's like every now and then I get the mood and I watch stuff like that.
All right. And what about that second question, my boss man?
Man, to be honest with the second question, like as far as like where I would have to go where I feel like I have the best option to maximize my potential and succeed. And for me, that would have to be WWE.
Okay. Okay. And you like WWE better than, well, not so much a better than AEW, but you just feel like that's where you can get the most potential out of yourself, correct?
Yeah, it's like, it's like it has a good infrastructure, like from a business standpoint.
Right.
Okay.
Because like I said, it's like I said, I try to look at wrestling from a business standpoint, and it's like, over there, it's like, it's like the opposite. Don't get me wrong, like with AEW, you have the freedom to kind of do anything that you want. And with WWE, you're pretty much kind of under the WWE umbrella, where it's like, from what I understand, they kind of control everything that you do. But when you look as far as like the infrastructure, and I mean, I understand plans in wrestling do change, but if they have a plan for you, they give you that opportunity. It's like, you know what? I don't care. I'll just say it. Like when you look at like AEW versus WWE, AEW has a lot of guys, a lot of good guys that you don't get to see. A lot of guys who can talk, and a lot of guys who can do this and do that, but they don't get the opportunities to do that.
Right.
And then when you look at the WWE side of things, like they give you that opportunity to fail.
Right.
And that's like, and like for me in wrestling, like just give me the chance to fail. You know what I'm saying? Like sink or swim.
Right.
And because it's like, like I said, it's like when I watch it, I look at it from a business standpoint. I don't get me wrong, beggars can't be choosers. If AEW is offering me a contract, I will go there. If WWE's not, if Leon, you get what I'm saying?
Right.
Beggars can't be
Yeah.
choosers. But if I did have a choice, it would be there. And then again, it's like, kind of like right now is like I'm waiting for it to circle back to me because I had a WWE tryout in May of last year. May 19th, May 20th of last year, I had a WWE tryout at the Performance Center.
Okay.
So it's like I'm kind of in the system. It's just just have to stay on top of it, and when my time comes, I just have to be ready.
Yeah.
So now, would your answer have changed? Let's say 6 months ago when somebody else was in charge of WWE at the time.
Well, to be honest with you, like when he was in charge, I was still kind of, you know what I'm saying, trying to knock on that door. But at the end of the day, it's like even if he was there or not, I always knew like wrestling changes.
Right. Yeah.
And with them over there, like they may be wanting vanilla ice cream right now, but who's to say like 6 months from now they don't want chocolate. They want chocolate at that point in time. So it's just like I said, it changes so much. It's just a matter of just staying ready. But did I feel like it was gonna? Did I feel like they was moving the goalpost on me? Yeah, because at the end of the day, I am 36 years old.
Right.
But for the untrained eye, I don't look 36, and I can tell you this: like if they're looking for athletes, I know hands down, like I'm a way better athlete than what they're bringing in. Because at the end of the day, it's like when it comes to this wrestling, man, you got to have it in you. It has to be in you. You can't just like pull like a athlete fresh out of college and expect them to be a great wrestler. It's you're gonna have a lot of failed experiments, and you're gonna pull out maybe one or two. And you can kind of see that playing out as is. So where it's like where the system that they were going to, in my opinion, not just saying being biased, but I felt like it wasn't going to work. Whereas like how they're doing it now, it's kind of a it's a mix. You pull in here and you pull in there, and you just kind of seeing what the best. And I'm not gonna lie, that I like that little night. I guess they call it the 90-day rule they have.
Oh, not compete clause. Yeah.
No. Like you gotta like as soon as you got that, you got a time frame. If you don't perform to what I'm saying, the way they want you, they shoot not releases. I don't know if you see how they kind of release people every now and then. When you have you have to like really, you got to show your worth. And like I want to say it's like, well, I joke and say it's 90 days, but it's like it's either 3 months to a year.
I've seen. I read something about that.
Yeah.
So you got to like a sore thumb.
What's up?
Yeah, because I kind of do see like a lot of the releases, like the performance center releases, and I be like, all right, who's this person? So I guess I get what you're saying, but I never knew like you had to outperform. I know, I guess if you don't make, you just don't make it to TV, or you don't make it to the.
They will release you even if you're not on TV. They will.
Yeah,
that's why they got that new NXT level up now.
You have a clock. You have a clock. From what I guess you could say, I don't know, but like this is me just reading the dirt sheet about it. But you have a clock. You get there. If you're not catching on quick, they moving on. Yeah,
because I read something about that. I read something about that, and I see what they're doing with the NXT level up. Instead of them bringing them straight to 2.0, they performance center, then they see how they do on level up, and if they meet up to their resume, they bring them up to 2.0 and stuff like that. Blah blah blah. But yeah, I was reading something like that. It's a short window. You really got to, as soon as that clock starts, you got to put your foot on the gas.
And exactly, so it's like I hate to say it, I'm waiting for them to fall off.
Hey, sometimes
when they dial that number, so I'm gonna be more than ready. Probably like I said, I feel like I'm good now, but I'm gonna be even better because like for me, it's like the one thing about me is like if you've been, I don't know how long y'all been following, but y'all can see like I don't stop working.
Right.
Yeah, I see. I was from going down your timeline. I see that. Yeah, you don't start no days off. Yeah, I see that. Yeah.
So if you had a preference, would you prefer to go through NXT and then go to the main roster, or you want to just skyrocket straight to the main roster?
I wouldn't mind starting in NXT.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, it's like you have to learn you have to learn how they do it there.
Right.
Yeah.
And you kind of, it's like I'm all about building it, and kind of carrying, because like it's good to take your fan base from there and move it on up to to the main roster. And it's like,
yeah,
it is the way it is now. They're kind of staying the same. Well, if they coming from NXT a certain way, they stand a certain way on the main roster. So which is good. But then again, I guess you can say I see NXT as a developmental brand, but in some instances I don't.
Right.
Because they do have people like like Apollo. He's in NXT. That's where he's at now. So
yeah.
So it's kind of like it just depends on like if I was on NXT and they wanted me to help carry their brand and take it to new heights, then that would be my place and my job to do that. And I'll do that until, where it's like I've done all I can do. Then it's, give me something else to conquer.
Right.
Yeah. And see, I wasn't a fan of the NXT part because I seen under the old management, I seen a lot of good guys come up and then get buried after a year or two. So I wasn't a big fan of NXT like that. But now I'm starting to like it more because, like you said, guys are coming up the same. It's not you're coming up and you're being buried after a certain time frame. Like I can name one tag team that was honestly one of my favorites. I watched the only really tag team I watched in NXT, and I watched them come up to the main event roster, and then they buried the tag team in a year and a half, and one of the guys got in trouble. And that was Enzo and Big Cass. You know what I mean? That was one of the groups I liked, and they just kind of buried them after about a year and a half, coming from NXT.
Well, the thing is with that right there is like, I wouldn't say they buried him, but you got to understand like kind of like how it all played out with them.
Yeah.
Okay, they made their debut the day after WrestleMania.
Right.
Big pop too.
They was
Pop.
over as hell. But the worst thing you can kind of do is when you first get on, like from when you transition from NXT to the main roster in the old regime, is get hurt.
Right.
And that's what happened to Enzo. Remember Enzo got hurt in that match against the
and then Big Cass had that drinking problem too, right?
Well, back I think he got heat over some political stuff or whatever.
Yeah, it was some backstage politics.
It was some backstage stuff, you know what I'm saying? So that's what kind of got him in hot water and everything, because at that point in time it was real. The climate was real thin back then, but like that was kind of the thing. And another thing is like with what you notice is with Vince has this idea on what a wrestler is,
right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he kind of wanted to make Enzo like a mouthpiece type guy,
right?
Which would have been a good role for him, but certain things happened with him. And because if you think about it, when Enzo kind of was by himself, he was getting a massive push.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. When he had that little cruiserweight one, right?
Yeah, that whole cruiserweight.
Yeah, but they said like the night that they when all that shit hit the fan, he was supposed to have like, because it was like Raw, it was like an anniversary type show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And on a
25th anniversary,
he had a bunch of segments on there. And he was supposed to interact with the Undertaker and all that. Like Vince was really high up on him because he's entertainment, and at the end of the day, that's what that regime was about. It was about sports entertainment. But he just kind of messed it up. I guess you could say they both messed themselves up.
No, they definitely did. Enzo a little more than Cass, but because Cass still was getting that singles push a little bit, but Enzo's was it wasn't nothing he could come back from. And once they let him go, his whole career went down after that. So
he in MLW right now.
Yeah. I've been watching him lately. His wrestling still ain't where I think it should be, but like you said, he's entertaining. He's good on the mic, so that gets you far.
Yeah, if you think about it, like I guess you could say when you look at like the Attitude Era, like when you look at, was the wrestling good in the Attitude Era, or was the entertainment? Was the
entertainment factor was definitely way higher.
The what?
Yeah, entertainment. The entertainment was way higher.
Yeah, and so in essence, when you think about it, like the work rate was down, but the entertainment was high. But if you ask anybody, they'll say that was the best era in wrestling.
Yeah,
it probably was, to be honest.
All right, so I have a question. So I want you to go through each AEW, WWE, and Impact. I want you to pick one female that you think would be a dope manager for you.
All right. Impact.
I would like to see Tasha Steele's manager. I'm not gonna lie, she got a mic game.
I'm trying to like. Let me think about Impact. Who in Impact would be a good manager for me? Man,
you don't think Tasha Steele would be a good manager for you?
But she like she can wrestle though.
Yeah.
Like I guess you could say like when you say like manager for me, it's like I kind of would like the old school classic, or like I guess you could say like a valet.
Right.
Like a valet, you know what I'm saying? Where it's like, if they need to speak and say something, they can speak and say something, or they can like kind of, further the storyline or whatever. Because it's like
a Stokely.
I guess if you put me and Tasha Steele together, it'll be more like a group. We'll be like a group.
Yeah.
Because she'll be whooping ass doing her thing, and I'll be whooping ass doing my thing. So it's like, Damn, who in?
I don't know about Impact, but I know in AEW I could see you with Stokes. I could see you with Stokely.
No, he said female though.
Female?
Oh, female. Oh.
Yeah, he said female.
That's a tough one.
Female, dang. That's the thing. Like they haven't really used. Like I would have to kind of try to pull somebody off the indies, but it's like
yeah, you have to, yeah.
It's not a lot of. It's like I said, in these days, it's not a lot of women who are valets and like women that can do like a great job at that valet. I mean, like kind of having like a Miss Elizabeth or like
most of them do both nowadays.
What's up?
But besides Scarlett's like the only one that's.
Most of them do both nowadays. Most of them, if they are your manager, at the same time they get in the ring and wrestle too. So, like you said, there's no traditional valets anymore.
Does Scarlett wrestle?
I can think of Scarlett. And you have Lana was one.
Yeah.
True.
Scarlett can wrestle, but
I guess me and Stokely, because I was like, me, Stokely, and Will House, we could have that doom, that. Yeah. And I could see
Taz. I could see Taz managing you too, man. I could see Taz. Yeah, I could see you and Taz.
Me and Taz. Regal. I get like because I had this thing because it's like I was like, man, like who could be like my Cuss D'Amato?
Yeah.
Like even if what I'm saying, like, because I could shift my character into something like that too, because like Mike Tyson was one of my inspirations, like as far as like really what I'm saying, getting myself into a body type, because I said like what, I'm gonna get myself in, like if I'm gonna get a look down pat, it's gonna be prime Mike Tyson. And that's pretty much what I got myself down to, was like the prime, like his prime weight and his prime look.
Yeah.
But dang, it's like it's kind of hard to find, what I'm saying? I guess you could say a good manager and a good valet. But it's like, I guess you could say when it comes to WWE, the only one I can think of is MVP.
Okay. So we have DJ FaZe. He said FaZe Jackson.
That's what I'm saying. See, I would have to like kind of check out the indies and pull someone from the indies versus somebody already on television.
That's a hell of a valet right there.
FaZe Jackson.
Yeah, FaZe Jackson. Yeah, that's a hell of a valet.
It's a hell of a valet.
That's a good one. That's a good one. But that would probably be my best. That would probably be what I would do anyway. Like
somebody from the
Macho Man, like the Macho Man thing. Macho Man. I mean, nobody knew who Miss Elizabeth was, and he brought her in, and that's kind of like what I'm saying. Granted, now I can tell you this: more people know who FaZe Jackson is than what they know me. But
right.
But that's a good thing though. That's also a good thing though, because
but she'll be like I said, she is like someone like,
because she's legit. She's somebody that's legit. So you being with her, it's like, man, she don't manage anybody. This guy got to be, somebody special.
Yeah, exactly what you're saying. Like as far as like if she's on TV and she like, this is, I found him, I'm bringing him in. Like like that'll, like with that right there, that'll work.
So do you feel so?
Like, to be honest though, like I could think of someone that I could work with and not just think about it in the AEW. Vicky Guerrero.
I said that not too long ago because she was talking. I was just saying that.
Okay.
So let me ask you a question though. Do you feel like, honestly, with the time that you put in, the work that you put in, do you feel like you need a manager, or is just something that you feel like can be an addition to what you already been doing?
I mean, I necessarily don't need. I feel like I don't need a manager.
Okay.
But I guess it just kind of goes to like as far as like what would the plan would be like because sometimes they will put me with someone so I can either generate that heat from them and then kind of take that heat and do my own thing with it.
Gotcha.
So like I said, so it's kind of like, you know, if I showed up, like if I showed up on TV with Paul Heyman,
Mm.
you know, it's like, you know, it's like that whole rub, you know, you get what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
that's
Like
what I was
take that
saying with the
rub
whole Faye
and
thing.
go do my own thing, you know. So it's like I have, like, so I have no problem like having a manager, because to be honest with you, you know, like sometimes some talent. I said I don't know, like, so I'm not in that space right now, so I don't know. But as of right now, you know, I've been doing pretty good, kind of, you know, without a manager, and it's kind of like really holding my own.
Yeah.
That's
Let me
I
ask
see
you
that's
earlier
this.
you
good.
said you spent time in the factory. Like, how was that, like, relationship wise? Like, you built a lot of relationships with a lot of guys that you was there with.
Y'all back?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was there in the beginning. Like it was called the One Fall Power Factory. So it was like when I was there, we had about 10 to 12 like students or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when I was there. I trained there for about a good year and a half, and then I left and went to Japan for 3 months.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, when I was there, it was mainly just QT. He's pretty much the head trainer.
How's your relationship with him until this day?
I mean, it's cool. Like, you know, we don't talk every day. You know, it's like, you know, if I have a question about something, he'll get back with me. But we're not
Oh,
like,
okay.
you
That's
know,
what's
we're
up.
not like close. I mean, to be honest, like I really don't have like a quote unquote close relationship with anybody as far as like in wrestling, like at the top. You know what I'm saying? I do have like certain connections that I've gained over time, and it's like certain people like I talk to, and certain people I have conversations with, like, you know, like Ricardo Rodriguez, like he one of the guys, like we kind of interact a lot or whatever. Like he's been like a nice dude to me ever since like we had a match. You know, he's been like real nice to me ever since. You know, like he helped me, like I said, he helped me out a lot too. But like I said,
Yeah, I
it's
just
just
seen
like,
that
you know,
match.
what's up?
Yeah, I just seen that match earlier today.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, you know, I know people, you know what I'm saying, like I have like a relationship with him, but it's not like we call each other every day. We like I can sit there and like, man, that's my friend, because, you know, I don't really throw that friend thing around. Like I don't really, you know, that word actually kind of means something to me. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Yeah.
That one.
Okay. So like in your career, what's one of your favorite matches that you've had so far?
To be honest, like I guess you could say the match that I just recently had. This past Saturday. I mean, it was a fucked up situation, but me and the guy, we had like a good solid match.
Yeah, they
And
were
it was
talking
like
about
we didn't have that much time to kind of like, you know, really put something together. We just like this, and we just kind of went out there and did it, you know. And I guess it was just like, you know, the energy from the fans, you know, made it all, you know, all worth the while. So I guess you could say, but that's the one I can think of off rip. But I guess you could say, as far as like, you know, was wrestling in Corkin Hall. That's an experience, you know, that I still think about till this day, and I hope to make it back, you know, to wrestling Corkin Hall again. And also, I guess you can say wrestling in Mexico. That's like a whole different ball game there.
If you had to choose between Japan and Mexico fan base, like the way the crowd, which crowd do you think is better, the Japan crowd or Mexico?
Damn, it's like a 50-50. It's like, you know, with Japan, like with the Japanese fans, they really see you as like someone different. Like you're kind of like, I guess you could say kind of like if you saw like your favorite football player up close, how you would kind of like react to something. To them, that's typically how they react to you. They really see you like as a real big star, and it's like the fact where it's like when they look at wrestling, it's like they really look at it like you can do this and I can't. And like with Mexico, they rowdy. they rowdy. They get like they really, 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 really get into it. So it's like that's really a hard one. That's really a hard one because it's like they both the same. It's like it's like night and day from from Mexico and from Japan and from here.
Right. So, DJ, question. It says, Tyson, what would your dream match and against school?
My dream match, it would have to be. Well, it would have to been Ron Simmons because he kind of wrestled. Like the way he worked is the way I like to work. I'm a big boy, so if you hit me, just I can take it, but just don't be a bitch about it if I lay it in on you too. Obviously Shelton Benjamin, because I know for a fact like he and I tear it up, and it's just like the way I am, I'll do some stuff that he used to do on him, just to kind of like, yeah, like this is what you used to be. You ain't that no more. I'm that, I want to like Shelton's at the top of my list because like with Shelton, he was one of the ones when he came around, he was one of the ones I really took to because he's a natural athlete.
Gotcha. Okay. So with WWE coming up, if you could pick one guy that can go down the shoe, so against that line, who would you pick?
Say just one guy? Four? I'd have to call up the Hurt Business.
Okay.
By the way, yeah, I have to call up the Hurt Business.
It's a good one right there.
Cause it's like like I said, if you look at certain stables or whatever, like I like not just saying because we all you know what I'm saying, we all black. No, that's not like it's like I really fit that because it's like I actually kind of like their dynamic, and it's like I could be the flip side. I kind of be the flip side of that. Like I wouldn't necessarily be the eyeball, but I'd be the one that's like rough around the edges. You feel what I'm saying? Because like I said, I wear like the gold grill, the top and the bottom when I wrestle. I would like JTG did it first. I give him his props. But you know what I'm saying, since then, like he hasn't been doing it, and like that's something that I've been doing. And that's kind of like my thing, like as far as like that, because I sell grills at the gimmick table, baby. You know what I'm saying? so like yeah, so it's like, what's up?
I said, get that money.
Yeah, so it's like, just to see, what I'm saying, just like that whole dynamic of me being with them, being in the suit. Like I don't wear, a couple of them have tattoos, but I'm tatted up. My beard a little bit scraggly, the gold grill thing, it's like I would fit. It's like I'd be the different one, but I'd fit in it. And it's like, there'll be some good TV because, depending on where you would want to place me in there, because, you can have Bobby and Roman, you have them square off. Then if you want to put me tag wise, whichever one I can bounce with the Usos or whatever, but, or you could just put me as a solo against, well, no pun, but me and Solo against each other.
That's the stuff I like.
How long have you been wrestling?
5 years. It'll be 6. Well, 5 years. Like we can say about 5.5. It'll be 6 years in March.
Okay. I don't know if anybody asked because I was busy earlier, but what got you into wrestling? Like into other than I'm sure being a fan, what made you decide you wanted to get in the ring?
I mean, I've always wanted to see if I could just try it, but like, excuse me, living in Louisiana, I didn't have like direct access to it. And at that point in time, I'm not gonna lie to you, I thought wrestling was still kind of how it was the old way, where it was like this secret society or whatever. Like where you had to like, know somebody that knows somebody, and they had to kind of accept you to want to train you and whatnot. So it just so happened like, I was looking for something. It's like, I guess you could say I was looking for something to occupy myself. My camera went out.
Yeah.
Hey, hold on just a sec.
All right.
What is that? That can sound.
Is it back?
Nah, it probably you got a camera button at the bottom.
Is it back on? I think what happened was I'm on for my phone and the battery thing cut on. Can y'all see me now?
All right.
Y'all can see me, or y'all can just hear me.
Now we can hear you.
Damn. What about now?
Sometimes you gotta log all the way out and come back in. For the support.
All right, I'll try that. Hold on.
Which I thought about Raw.
I guess it makes sense on why Theory lost Money in the Bank.
The crowd.
Okay, that echo's going on now too.
The crowd fucking sucks. I'm not gonna lie.
It was at least the crowd.
2 weeks in a row, the crowd was horrible, bro.
Hey, bro, nobody cares about Austin Theory. I'm gonna keep it real with you. It doesn't matter what they do.
Jump right into Austin Theory, bro.
Cause nobody cares about Austin Theory, dog. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Y'all see me now?
Yeah.
All right.
I think when everything went out, it had messed up the feed a little bit. Cause it sound better now too.
Okay, yeah. I think it's because my battery went down to the past the 20% mark.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It sounds like an iPhone problem.
Yeah. Nah, man, I got man. Look, I put like this. I'll keep a phone all the way until it plap out on me, man. I still got like an iPhone 8, bro.
Yeah, it is.
That's crazy.
I got a flip phone, so yo.
Yeah, so where we left off? We left off at
you were explaining to me how you what got you into wrestling? What made you want to wrestle?
Yeah, so it was just like really it was just like the opportunity. Like I had I was in Charlotte, North Carolina for my fiance. She had an internship there, and I had went with her for the summer. And I went to an indie show, and like I was just like it was like my first independent show, and I was just there, and I was watching it, and I was like, man, you know what? I could do this. And so I kind of stayed after the show, and I helped them pick up chairs and clean the venue back up. And this guy stopped me. He was like, hey, are you a wrestler? I was like, no, but I'm looking to get into it. So he kind of, we chilled that night. He gave me the rundown, talked to me a little bit, kind of felt me out. And it was like the next day I was in the gym and I was doing leg press, and I saw Cedric Alexander behind me deadlifting, and I stopped because he was booked on that same show, and I stopped and held a conversation with him, and then and I told him that I wanted to start wrestling, so he took me to his trainer George South, and it was up from there.
Okay, I'm familiar with George South, definitely.
That's dope.
No, that's good though, especially like you said, coming from Louisiana. Not really. It's not. I know a lot of people who live down that way, and it's from what I know, it's not too much. Like if you don't play ball, like football or basketball or something like that, it's not too much else kind of to get into down there for real.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, it's a little bit that's like different now. Like in the area that I live in, there's a school like nearby, and like they had like Wildcat that was in the New Orleans, and I'm like, from where I'm from, it's like 3 hours from New Orleans.
Okay.
And like where I'm from is like more closer to Texas, and like I said, I wasn't as plugged in at that time as far as like with indie wrestling as what it was when I got whiff of the show. Like, okay, because I guess you could say like I kind of started trying to seek it, and as I was trying to seek it, I started finding certain things, and then it was just from there where I found the show, and then like I saw that they had some schools in Charlotte, and George Shaw was one of the schools I was looking at. Just so happened like I met someone that trained there, and he just took me there.
That's what's up.
Okay.
That's definitely what's up.
All right. So I guess we could, touch base on Raw from last night, which wasn't too entertaining.
I guess you could say the one thing I got like whiff of is like the Austin Theory character making a change, which in my opinion, it's a good thing.
Yeah, I want to ask you about that because I get heat about this guy. I've been riding his bandwagon.
Yeah.
Theory.
Yeah.
I've been waving the Theory flag for like 6 months now.
By your damn self too.
Yeah, and nobody sees what I see. You are I want to hear from your point of view. Do you think this kid is what they say he is? I think he is. I think he's better than John Cena.
No,
I mean, he can be better than John Cena, but the thing is like, if you want my opinion, they took him away from NXT too early.
I agree.
I agree with that. I was mad about that because he could have.
So
you mean the first time or just recently?
Just in general.
Okay.
I agree.
They took him away. They took him away too early. So it's like, if he'd have been able to kind of be in that system, if it was under the old regime, he had a chance to be in that system and develop. It'd have been a lot more easier transition because it's almost like they had to like break him down just to rebuild him back up again.
But at the same time, they brought him. I mean, he had like 3 different main roster. He was NXT, brought him up, put him back down, brought him up, put him back down. Just this last time, I'll say they've booked him a lot better. Winning the Money in the Bank, even after that, losing a lot of matches. And what happened last night with his aggression, him getting sick and tired, and kind of turning that dial up, but. I don't know. Sometimes I think for me it's like because of how many times he was brought up, sent back down, brought up, sent back down. It's like it's not there in my opinion. You know what I mean? Now this new ring could do it. It could be something that could happen, and I'll be like, you know what? All right, I see it. Last night won't it for me. Not saying it won't happen.
I don't think
won't it yet.
I don't think it's not there. I just think it's taking time to progress because we seen him being Vince's puppet for so long, and now they trying to turn the channel and take your mind off that puppet. I think it's another thing of rebuild, like he said, tearing down and rebuilding. They literally for the 3rd or 4th time having to tear his character all the way down and then build him back up from being Vince's puppet because that's what he was for the longest.
Yeah, and to be honest with that whole thing, like it got him heat, but it didn't get him the right type of heat.
Right.
And that promo with Roman, after everything happened with Vince, that killed him.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same as when Roman did that promo with Cena, and Cena kind of broke him down in a sense. And after that, nobody looked at Roman the same for real, until this whole new gimmick that he's had, with the heel turn.
Yeah.
So I think Theory the same way. Like Roman kind of killed him. Like your daddy's not here anymore. Like that line alone. Like I'm your daddy now. Like it won't nothing he could say to that. Like.
I mean, it's like he could say, he just didn't say it.
Yeah, but he could, like saying, he could have benefited a lot, like being there a lot more. But then, like I said, and I honestly think that he would have been in a better spot if Vince would have never like went back to NXT and like and start and put his hands in it.
Right.
I'm pretty sure Triple H would have brought him along the way that he should have been brought along. So it's like you said, like now he has to like kind of he got to strip him naked and wash him off, trying to wash that stench off of him. And now he got he can come back, and kind of they can start pushing him how he needs to be pushed. But as far as him, like I said, when you look at when you look at Cena and you look at him, Cena was in OVW for a minute. He got called up. Did his thing in that first match, but when he was biker short Cena, you really didn't see him when he got called up.
Yeah, a lot of people don't remember biker short Cena.
Man, that was very rare. Very rare.
So you had to be a fan of wrestling to even know a lot of those guys.
And the thing is with that, like Cena was on the verge of getting fired until he started rapping.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read about that.
He was like 9 toes out the door for real.
Yeah, so
Hey man, I want to talk about something that you said earlier since Ed brought it up. You said a lot of good guys in AEW are not getting the shine that they deserve. Yep. I have been saying that for a long time. I may have been wording it wrong because we had this big fight about. I used to say, man, AEW signing all of WWE releases or people that's coming from WWE. So these guys got mad at me about saying WWE guys. But the way I was putting it is that I felt at the time that they were doing it, AEW wasn't growing their own talent like that. They were trying to push that wave of guys that came from WWE that had that background behind them and say, hey, we're going to implement them to our show and we're going to push them. Look at the CM Punk situation that went south quick because he had that freedom. He went in, he did his thing, went left with it. But I was trying to say what you said that, they got so much good talent over there in AEW. And when nobody getting the shine but the bigger guys like Orange Cassidy, Darby Allin, and Sting at the time. So yeah, I just wanted to touch on that while these guys on here, and they know who I'm talking to. I ain't gotta call them out.
I mean, I guess you could say when you look at it, like Darby is a new guy, a guy that hasn't been seen on any type of television, and he was pretty much getting a good push. But when you start to look at it, they kind of have to do like a big overhaul because now it's like they have to try to like Ricky Starks. Okay. Ricky Starks should have been, like in my opinion, Ricky Starks should have been someone they could have been like kind of pushing along the whole way or whatever. And it's like when you look at the times that they've done, like as many times as you had like this last tournament, the last tournament that they had where Moxley won it, not the one he just
the one during the summer.
Huh?
The one during the summer.
Yeah, when after CM Punk beat Adam Page.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. The one that after everything happened with the whole.
For me personally, I would have booked that completely different. I literally would. I would have put like some former champions in there, but I would at least try to make a star out of that tournament. Similar to like kind of how they do the King of the Ring. Yeah, you could have still went the same direction as far as having Moxley win the whole thing, But the one thing out of this is try to create a new star out of it, and that's kind of like, what I'm saying, where it's like at the end of the day it's gonna bite you in the ass, and that's kind of like, when they say that's what happened with TNA. When they started getting the influx of the ex-WWE guys, they kind of put the talent that they had that they were pushing, they kind of put them on the back burner. And I get it. I get why you do that because, at the end of the day, WWE is like a global conglomerate. So it's like, if they show up on TV, it's going to pull some of them fans to want to see it. But, you have to kind of find that medium, where it's like, you push, like you have your guys that you're pushing, but you're kind of like pushing them along the way. And if you think about it, when you look at like certain pushes, let's look back at like, the rise of Randy Orton, John Cena, and those guys, like that whole OVW class that came up. You still had the top guys like Austin and Rock and all them around, Undertaker and all them, but as you can see on the undercard, they was doing things with those guys to kind of build them up.
Right.
And then it was like whenever, the Rocks and the Austin, they start and the Triple H's, they start trying to transition it out. You had a whole crop of new stars coming up that you done kind of built up. And that's kind of like, what they kind of, they have too many people. They have too many people there.
In AEW?
Yeah, they have way too many.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, and then with everything that's going on with Ring of Honor right now, it's kind of like it's until they fully have the second show, until Ring of Honor is separated, it is a lot because to keep Ring of Honor relevant, they're bringing the Ring of Honor guys onto AEW TV because you kind of got to keep the titles relevant. You got to keep some of those names relevant.
I mean, to be honest, you kind of don't. Because, like, what you can, like, at the end of the day, what you can do is like, if you buy it, you just kind of put it on ice. Once you get everything lined up and ready, you can always roll it back out.
Yeah, that's true.
Roll it back.
There's still a lot of names.
Roll it back out as a new product. Because I guess you could say basically what he's trying to do. He's trying to keep that same Ring of Honor nostalgia. Or with like that same Ring of Honor energy or whatever. Like you can just kind of you have it, you set it on ice, you keep all the titles vacant, and when you reboot it into the image of what you want it to be.
No, I fully agree with that. I definitely do. Because I think it's almost, I don't want to say it's tarnished the Ring of Honor name in a sense, but it's almost been a year since Final Battle. This last year hasn't been Ring of Honor. You know what I mean? Like, not what I can't even talk. Not what we're used to from Ring of Honor.
Yeah, so in actuality, it would have just been better to do what? Just not display it at all.
Yeah.
And then once you got all your ducks lined up in a row, then you can start wheeling it back out.
Yeah, I think Tony Khan was looking at the fact that he thought maybe if he kept it rolled out the way it was going to generate more business, more fans, everything, and it was going to be like. I guess he kind of probably looked at it like it was like the WWE NXT thing, but he just promoted it the wrong way. Like you said, he should have rolled it up and brought it back out later. But it looked like he just tried to put it all together in this big old cake, put everybody in one pot, and it's really and the pot is over flooded, like you said. I said that a long time ago, but anyway, the pot is over flooded. It's been over flooded for a while. Now you got to try to figure out how to unflood it by either releasing stars or doing something different or making a new TV deal and getting it unflooded.
Or you could have made a storyline out of it. I mean, it's a recycled storyline, but
the invasion angle.
Exactly. And if you want to be technical with it, when you look at the invasion angle, that story wrote itself.
Yeah.
Because think about it. When did Ring of Honor start having problems? When what?
It was.
It'll be with Anthony.
I would have start with that problem.
When what? With just think about it. When did Ring of Honor start having their troubles with money and all sorts of things? When what?
When the pandemic hit.
Nope.
It was before the pandemic.
Before the pandemic.
It was
When did Ring of Honor start losing its steam? Like start losing its,
It was around the time Seth and them left.
Nope.
Before that?
After that.
I can answer that. I don't watch.
Yeah, I can't even think when.
When the Elite left.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
When the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, Cody, when they all left and
To
they
start
start AEW,
Yeah.
what happened?
Yeah.
But you know what's funny though, as you
Ring
say
of Honor
that,
Ring of Honor started to kind of, it wasn't the same.
as people don't really think that the Elite are needle movers, they are. And a lot of people really don't. And I'm on, like me and Ant, we're on Twitter all the time in spaces and everything. And we're talking to a lot of wrestling fans and doing wrestling spaces. A lot of people, one, don't like the Elite. Two, don't think the Elite are that important. And I'm like, they're a lot more important than people realize that they are, especially in that indie scene, which is what AEW mostly is the indie scene. It's like as of right now, I still consider them kind of like how Ring of Honor was. They're a super indie in a sense. They're getting the WWE guys to legitimize them, but they're still in a sense a super indie. And as far as the indies go, they're still those top names.
But the thing is though, it's like kind of, I guess you could say trying to cross over into that space that they're trying to cross over to tonight. It's like trying to cross over to that mainstream with that mainstream appeal. To be honest, like I said, like whenever it first came about, I was like, okay. I was like, okay, Kenny Omega, big star in Japan. Whenever he was on the Ring of Honor cards, they sold him jokers out. When you look at WrestleMania, when you look at the WrestleMania weekend, when they would have Supercard of Honor and they would have NXT on the same night, NXT was gonna have NXT Takeover have their sold out crowd, but also you had a whole section of fans that was going to Supercard of Honor and selling it out.
Yeah.
So, but it's like I said, it's for that particular crowd, for that particular niche of audience. Yes, it works, but the thing is like that particular niche of audience, they don't support it. If you ask me, they don't support it. That's how, because at the end of the day, if you look at the buzz that they had coming in, it's like that should have transitioned over. It should have. But for some reason, this is my point of view, it didn't translate over. What made them so good, in my opinion, was that when they were in New Japan, we didn't see them all the time. We got them in we saw like that when they would kind of do like the tour or whatever with the when they have the tour and they had the big pay-per-view with the big at the end, we would see we'll see maybe what, once a month, once every 2 months. Wrestle Kingdom time, we'll see them. So it's like, that's what made them, because they had that, I don't know what word I'm looking for, but they had that with them.
That aura.
Yeah, that aura with them. Because like I said, we wasn't getting them as much. Like we wasn't getting Kenny Omega every Wednesday. We was getting Kenny Omega once a month. And the way they did things in New Japan, they was wrestling in multi-man matches, and most of the time the fans wouldn't see the multi-man matches. All they would see is the single matches.
Yeah.
They wouldn't see the damn 6-man that the Bullet Club would have with Chaos.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was on because they'll do a 3-night, it'll be, show, big show. They didn't see the 6-man that they had. They would just see the Okada versus Kenny Omega match.
Yep.
And those type of matches came once you get it once and you don't get it again. You'll get Kenny and Naito, or you'll get whatever he was doing, or like Kenny and Kota Ibushi, so it's like the fact
They're-
that they were on TV every week, I think that's what kind of
it took that the allure away because now
Yes.
at first it was like, oh, Bullet Club or the Elite, and then once you start seeing them all the time and you start seeing, like a lot of people say, the flippy floppy, the same moves, the same stuff, after a while it does get burnt out in a sense.
And if you think about it, yeah, they did, but they like everybody used to clown Cena about the 5 moves of doom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had the 5. They had everyone has their 5 moves, and they had their 5 moves, and like we would only see them maybe once a month, so you wouldn't really like pick up on how they do things.
Because people say that about Will Ospreay too. They say as good as he is, he puts on the same kind of matches every time. And he's kind of the same, because if you don't watch New Japan, you don't get to see Will Ospreay all the time. So like when he was in AEW, when they had that 6-man match to see who was going to the finals for the 6-man tag belts, a lot of people were in awe because they don't get to see Will Ospreay on a regular. So all the stuff he was doing, it was like, yo. But for somebody like myself, I'm a Will Ospreay fan. I watch New Japan. I watch a lot of his indie work when he does come over here. To me, it's not new, but to everybody else, it's like, oh shit, it's like, yo, who is this Will Ospreay guy? Like, I ain't never watched him before.
Exactly. So that's kind of like, as far as like when you look at the Elite, that's kind of like what I think as far as that.
Nah, definitely.
Yeah, that's a fact.
So, well, I don't know if anybody else had questions. As of right now, how far? I mean, and I'm pretty sure I know the answer, but I still want to ask this. How far do you want to take wrestling?
I mean, well, obviously, I would love to get signed, and then like after I have my certain run with wrestling, I kind of wouldn't mind getting into helping with the booking and stuff like that. Because at the end of the day, it's like I do have. It's like I do have ideas. It's like I probably couldn't write out like a whole damn storyline for somebody, but I can lay down the groundwork of saying like, hey, let's put these 2 guys together, and watch how they, watch how something get off. It's like just like last night, I was thinking because because AEW's been using Madman Fulton. They've been using him on Dark.
Yeah, I seen that.
Why not sign him and put him and Lance Archer together as a team?
Which is crazy. I didn't even know Madman Fulton wasn't even with Impact anymore until last night.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So it's like you put them together, that would be an interesting tag team.
It would, and it gives Lance Archer something because, to be honest, as long as he's been there, he really ain't. I mean, he's had some good feuds, but then it's like he can never get over the hump in a sense. You know what I mean? Like they'll book him good, he's winning, he's the monster. Then he gets to that big one and he loses.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, to be honest, that goes to the booking strategy. It's like, to be honest, it's like you can chunk up a lot of things like with the guys that we see, and you be like, damn, they could be doing so much better. It goes to the booking. Like one of my favorite guys in AEW was Miro.
Love Miro. Love Miro.
And if you ask me, the TNT title hasn't been the same since he lost it.
Yeah,
we said that, and again, I'll be in spaces a lot. We said that in the spaces, but I think his injury came at the wrong time. I think had his injury not came where they took him out and put the TNT title on Sammy, which at first I was hyped for. I was like, okay, Sammy, all right. But then it didn't pan out the way it was supposed to.
But as I said, he's kind of sitting there on the shelf, like he's just. I don't think he's injured.
No, he's not.
I don't think he's injured. I don't think he's injured anymore. I think they just kind of the same thing with WWE does. It's like we don't want to just throw you out there We want to book you right, but we just don't have anything for
But
you.
but he's one of the guys that should be like he's someone that I would feature because like the character that he was doing, like he's doing, like you can do so much with that. Like he should be in the main. He should either be in the main title picture, or you know what I'm saying, or like he should be doing something, you know. And when you think about it, they have this new belt, the Atlantic Championship, that I guess you could say they booking around the foreign wrestlers.
He would be perfect.
He'll be perfect for that. He'll be perfect for the TNT, or he'll be perfect for the main title. You know, just on the strength of like his style and who he is and how he's believable.
He is, and his mic skills are way better than what they were when he was in WWE also, because they're allowing him to talk more.
Yeah.
So.
Right. All right, y'all. We are at. Oh, you got another question or?
No, man, I'm good, man. It's good to get an inside from a wrestler. You know, I always talking to these guys, don't always pan out, but good to get the inside.
You don't watch indie wrestling, Travis. That's why.
But see, wait. Let me explain that. Because when I was coming up, my father used to just watch when Jared and Keaton Lauder used to wrestle on like Fox or something like that. So that's all we used to watch. Like, and then he transitioned to WWE. So I've been watching WWE my whole pretty much life. And then they came over AEW. And then when I first started watching AEW, I'm like, okay, it's all over the place. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna give it a year or two. I'm gonna give it a little time to build a storyline. But then as it built the storyline, I tried to watch it. I was completely lost because at that time they were doing the Vince McMahon thing. They were just circling those same group of wrestlers in a circle, you know, until they got more wrestlers. And I was like, all right, forget it. So every now and then I will tune in to AEW. But like I told Ant and I told Sean before, for somebody like me, before I knew about the indies about 3 to 5 years ago, I didn't know where to go to find the indies. You know what I mean? Like now I could just pick up my Fire Stick remote and watch it. You know, I knew, you know, YouTube was there, but you know, I wasn't in tune with it like that because I was all WWE. But now, you know, it's easier to find. But you tell me 10 years ago, before YouTube became popular, you know, it was nowhere really to find the indies. I don't know where the hell Sean was finding it, but he was finding it.
Hey man,
You know what I mean? He had that plug.
I'm a wrestling fan, so like for
I
me,
am too.
No. But I say that in the sense of like, because I'm into it, and I have where I live at here in Virginia, I have a group where, you know, close when it comes to wrestling. So like all of us are like that. And I travel. So when I travel, I'm always like looking online to see if it's an indie show that weekend somewhere. Like I'm into battle rap too. So I do the same thing with battle rap. I'll look, if I'm going somewhere, I'll look to see if it's an event that weekend that I can pull up to. And same thing with indie wrestling. So, and I think recently, Twitter and the pandemic and Twitter has really helped me with that, because I've met so many indie wrestlers on Twitter and I've gotten in tune with more people that I didn't know about before. And I think right now, I want to say this is like, I don't want to say the golden age of the indies, but this is a great time to be a wrestler. And I think a lot of it, in my opinion, and Tyson, you can you know chime in and let me know if I'm right or not. But I think as much as people thought, you know, a lot of those WWE releases were bad, I think for the indie scene, it was good, because you have a lot of these really good wrestlers that get let go, and now they get to go down here and they get to pair up with some guys that probably wouldn't get to wrestle them until they got, you know, up there to WWE. So from the way I, at least from a fan standpoint, looking at it, it seems like it's like a really great time to be an indie wrestler right now.
Yeah, it is pretty dope, you know, to be an indie wrestler at this point in time, like you're saying, in some instances because of the releases. But you know, you also have, when you look at some of the releases, they released a good bit of guys who when they got to the Indies, it was a rude awakening for them, and they kind of got a wake up call that you may not be as good as you thought you was.
I've heard this also. I've definitely heard that also. So
like it humbles it, like so being on the independence, like I said, being on the independence, it humbles you, and it's like it's like you have to experience it. You have to really experience the independence. I feel in order to when you get to that next level to really appreciate everything. Because at the end of the day, it's like, I say this to myself every day. I need to get the hell off the Indies. Because don't get me wrong, it's fun, but then again, you have a situation like I had this past weekend.
Well, you don't know if you're going to get paid or not.
Man, man, look, at the end of the day, from if what the dirt sheets say, as far as like the money, the way they worded it was that he was $14,000 short on just the 6 guys in the main event.
Yep, I've heard that.
And if he 14,000 short on them,
he even shorter on y'all.
That 14,000 might easily turn into about 20,000.
Oh, maybe more.
And I don't know too many indie promoters just like sitting there. They got $20,000. They can issue out to people. They're gonna be a bunch of IOUs going out. So
that's the other thing. I think that's the other part of it when you have so many guys like not big name in a sense, but you got guys that were making X amount in WWE, and now they come down to the Indies and they feel like because they were up here, they require X amount. And when you have promoters that's going to pay it, it does sometimes, I would think, take away from some of the other guys on the card also.
I mean, but like in that situation there, you just first off you have to look at who you bringing in. Like I know for a fact, ADR, like he's an ex-WWE champion. I know he a 4-digit guy. I know he's a 4-digit guy.
But Alberto comes with so much though, like in a negative way at that.
I mean, it's like
the negative outweighs the positive with him a little bit though.
I mean, I get what you're saying, but like it's like the same. My interactions with him was cool. Like he was cool. He was nice to me. Like as far as like that particular night there, whenever it was intermission, Ricardo had asked me, "Hey man, can Alberto put some of his shirts out next to yours?" I had a small ass table, so I slid my stuff over. Let him put his shirts out there, and I let him use my because like I signed everything in gold, and just so happened that the stuff that he had, it would look better if he signed it in gold than in black. I let him use my Sharpie. He told me thank you. It was like I said, I did WrestleCon when it was in New Orleans a while back, and I was across. I had a table. I was working a table like my own booth across from James Ellsworth at the point in time when he was hot. I was taking. He asked me to take. Well, he asked me to take pictures of him and his fans or whatever. They want to take pictures with him, and the motherfucker ain't tell me thank you for shit. Whereas
Elworth didn't tell you thank you. That's disrespectful.
Whereas Alberto Del Rio, he was like, man, thank you. Like he just pretty much, I shared my table and he told me thank you.
And a lot of times, a lot of people interaction is always different. Where you hear bad stuff about people all the time, but then you'll hear other people, like you just said, like, hey man, I understand it, but the couple interactions I've had with this person, it's been good, it's been great. So
I put it like this. I know particularly how he could be, because like I said, this wasn't like my first interaction with him.
Okay.
Like, so, because like I said, like early in my career, I didn't have like an interaction with him, but like when they were all in New Orleans, I went to go speak to him, and one of his little bodyguards like, he don't feel like talking to nobody right now. And he was just like kind of storming down Bourbon Street. And I was like, what the fuck? Whereas, what I'm saying, I saw Kevin Owens, and me and Kevin Owens had a little conversation.
Yeah, Kevin is cool. I met him a couple times.
You feel what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, and like I had that interaction with him, then I had this interaction with him, but like I can see both sides. I can see both sides of how people say that and how, you know what I'm saying, and how my experience was with him. So, but when you look at what he was probably old, when you look at what the three Ultimo Dragon, Nakajima, Marufuji, like what they were old, I'm pretty sure Josh Alexander, he a triple digit guy too. He the Impact World Champion.
Definitely got to be. Definitely.
And then you had 3 AEW girls. You had La Rosa Negra. You had Kimberly. There, you had Madman Fulton. There, another ex WWE guy, ex Impact guy. So
star-studded card, but just not the backing.
But they did hold on. They did this. They did this. Look at my nasty man. Leroy, nasty man.
Nasty Leroy.
That man, nasty Leroy.
Leroy, nasty man.
Hey, Leroy.
Hey, y'all see Dolomite? Y'all see Dolomite, man?
Yes.
The first Dolomite.
Yes.
Yeah, that's him, man. Rat bastard.
Yeah, but you know the little scene where he was like, he was like, I think he said, I'm Leroy, the lover man. You should be paying me. Did you take $100? That's where I get that from. Like Leroy, nasty man.
Nasty Leroy is a character, man. I'll tell you.
Oh, that's my guy, bro. That's my guy. Like man, my first time hearing about Nasty Leroy, bro, I was listening to that podcast, Wrestling Soup.
Okay.
And they had this dude named Nasty Leroy always calling in. I'm like, what the hell is this dude talking about? And what happened was like I was living in Florida, and like we had, I don't know if it's when we evacuated for a hurricane, or I think we came out here for something. Me and my fiance came out here for something, but I had went to it was One Fall Power Factor. I had went to a seminar they had, and they had this dude there. He was like, "Man, yeah, I'm Nasty Leroy." And I was like, "Say, bro, you that Nasty Leroy to be calling the wrestling soup?" He was like, "Yeah, that's me." It was like, "Oh, that's some crazy shit, man."
Hey, man, Nasty Leroy be having
Shout out Nasty Leroy, man. Shout out to Nasty team. Nasty Hotties and all that.
Nasty team worldwide,
Worldwide.
Definitely, man.
Word.
Definitely.
All right. So,
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just going to ask last question. When's your next booking? When you have anything lined up coming up?
I'm actually going back to my home state of Lake. Well, I'm not going back to Lake Charles. Damn, I'm going back to Louisiana, Morgan City, to be exact to wrestle for Gulf States Wrestling. Okay. On Saturday. Like I don't know my opponent at this point in time, but it's it's like their Christmas show, and it's an annual Christmas show. This is my first time. I've wrestled with them before, but it's my first time being on the Christmas show, and like he draw like close to 1,000. If it ain't 1,000, it's up there like around 700.
I think the professor was telling me. I was talking to the professor today, and I think he was telling me about a show this weekend, and I want to say that's the one he was telling me about down in Louisiana. Oh man, I can't even
Texas.
think.
He in Texas?
No, he's in Louisiana.
No, he's from Louisiana.
Oh yeah. I think I might know.
He do all the TikToks and stuff like that. Bald head, gray beard.
He works for Fightful.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Nah, I don't know him.
Okay, but yeah, he's like big in wrestling also.
Yeah.
But he was telling me about that show because I remember he was telling me and another guy who lives down there. He was telling him about the show because since he's moved down there, he's always looking for indie shows to go to and support. And I believe that was one of them that he was telling him about.
Yeah, it's in Morgan City. That's like about an hour from Lafayette and an hour from Baton Rouge or whatever.
All right, we definitely will let them know.
Definitely. Well, I mean, hey, I'm pretty sure Jermaine's about to wrap up. Shout out your socials where they can find you.
Man, just if you get on Instagram, get on Twitter, just type in Tyson Maddux. It's spelled the same way on the screen. It's all one word. No spaces, no dots, no nothing. It's all one word, Tyson Maddux. And I'm pretty sure if you get on Facebook and type in Tyson Maddux, my personal page will come up. You know what I'm saying? If you trying to add me from there, just like shoot me a message and let me know who you are and where you got it from. Because I try to limit as far as like when it comes to fans or whatever. I try to limit that because like
it's a
I'm not
personal.
gonna lie to you. I have no problem like answering questions, but sometimes it be getting too much.
Trust me, I understand.
It be getting too much, man. So
I'm big in battle rap, so like I'm friends with a lot of big battle rappers, and if you look at they could just post something about their kids, and the fans come on there and they say like the wildest stuff, and I'm like, my man just posted his kid. Like,
I got a homie. I got a dude I grew up with. He battle rap now, whatever. Like, man, let me look at my other phone right quick. I'm gonna look at my other phone. I'm gonna tell you his name, whatever. I don't know. You may have heard of him, you may haven't. I think he may stay around DC. I don't know.
If he in DC, I'm pretty sure I know him.
Maryland or something. North Carolina, one of them. I don't know. His name Dub D.
That's the homie. I know Dub.
You know Dub? His real name Donald?
Yes, sir. I've known Dub for quite a while.
Man, me and Dub went to elementary and middle school together, man.
Oh, that's crazy. I'm gonna hit him up later.
The same city, bro. We used to have a little clique. We used to have like a little clique together because we was in the same 7th grade class, bro. Like cutting up. Me and him, we was man.
Oh, that's
yeah, man. Dub, I follow his social media. Like I be like on Instagram. I be like whenever he kind of posts something, I'll go ahead and I'll put it on my story or whatever.
Okay. That's the homie though, man.
Man. Tell Dub, you know me, bro. Yeah, man.
I definitely will. Next time we talk, I definitely will.
Small world.
So we got one more comment. So Nasty Roy says, check out Tyson Maddux dance
Southside. We got to do that. We got to do that nasty shake of that Southside, man.
Nasty swing. That nasty swing.
We got a nasty swing, man. Man, Nasty got so many goddamn dance moves and all that, bro.
Swing.
Right. All right, but we definitely want to give a special thanks and a shout out to my guy Tyson Maddux. Thanks for blessing the show, showing love.
Yeah, man, it was a pleasure being on it with y'all. Like I really, like I said, I really don't do podcasts often that much no more. Because like, you know what I'm saying, it's kind of like, you know, it's a lot, you know. Right. But like I really enjoyed y'all, you know what I'm saying? Something pop off again with me, you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't mind coming back on something else y'all kind of want to talk about, get the insight about, and I have no problem coming on. We could just, you know what I'm saying, set it up and we'll get it done.
We appreciate that.
Yeah, you definitely invited back anytime, man.
Yeah, anytime. But we definitely thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be back on Sunday to recap SmackDown, Dynamite, and NXT, and then again next Tuesday to
Full Gear.
Oh, and Full Gear.
Full Gear is this weekend. Yeah,
Full Gear is this weekend also.
Yeah, Full Gear. Yeah. So again, I have been your host, J Mac Main.
It's big keys, man. I ain't got no muscles. I just want to show the arm. That's it.
I already know what it is, man. You already know what it is. Big bad Hootrosaurus, man.
It's your boy Trav, man, in the building.
All right, and we will see you guys later. Peace.
Yeah.